Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have never seen a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement. We like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a movie, and that movie is Thunderbolts. Are we saying asterisk?
No, it's just Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
No, I think,
the
yeah.
asterisk's there, though.
I don't think, you have to say it. There's no way to even say it, really,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, talking just right then and there.
Yeah.
That's Chris Trio. Triple
Gooch,
threat.
how are you? It's great to see you.
I'm doing shitty.
Oh,
it could be a
sorry.
way better Friday. We're recording early.
Yeah, we
We're
are.
right after work. We're barely 24 hours off this movie.
Not even.
Yeah,
Not even 24, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's usually rare for a Marvel movie.
it is. I mean,
And
we
sometimes usually like I know you particularly, as the kids say, you like to cook.
I would prefer to simmer a bit if possible, but this weekend doesn't allow it, and that's okay. I'm happy and excited to jump right in. Of course, I've been excited for Thunderbolts for quite a while now, actually. I'd say it's probably the Marvel movie I've been the most excited for in the recent slate. But Gooch, I want to hear your thoughts first.
Oh.
What did you think about Thunderbolts?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah, I liked it. Thunderbolts is like a lot different from the MCU movies we're kind of used to. It's a lot smaller scale. It's a lot more character driven, a lot more backstory, and the personalities who we're with. I feel like who they are as people, not necessarily the superhero, but the person aspect of Yelena Belova and John Walker,
Ghost.
Yeah, Ghost, of course. I was going to say Sergei, Alexei.
Yeah.
That matters. And I feel like, maybe besides the Guardians, we don't really have, stories like that. Ant-Man and Quantumania was not about Ant-Man as a person. Even though post-Endgame Ant-Man, where's Scott Lang at? And I feel like we got a very good look at, what it's like to be post-Endgame, post-Avengers. Where are other superheroes at? What I've been wanting from the MCU. Address what's going on with the trauma of these people, because we haven't. We've addressed one character, Wanda. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is kind of just moved on, and we don't really get the explanation. Last thing I'll say before I'll throw it over to you. I like how we weren't bit-bopping around. The movie kind of takes place within 3 or 4 action set pieces. In the beginning, there are a few locations, but once the plot begins, once the part in the trailers when they're all in the same room and they realize
Allegra.
Allegra
De Fontaine.
her.
Yeah.
Valentina.
Valentina,
Once
yeah.
Valentina sends them all there, we see that in the trailers. That's when the movie actually starts, and it takes us 25 minutes to get there. But once we hit there, we're only in 3 or 4 or 5 other places, and I really like that. It didn't slow the movie down, but I feel like it's a lot more it's easier to digest. Sometimes, I think Age of Ultron is a good example of we are going every which way to 7 different places, and the plot's not all over the place, but it's hard to follow. Where this, I was really not how slower the pace felt and how more digestible it is and how personal it is, and I'm this is really what I wanted from a cast of characters who I think not necessarily deserve it, but I think are the characters to tell deeper personal stories about, because I feel like John Walker is a really good character from the Disney Plus stuff.
Absolutely.
I liked how they explored him, and Yelena has really shown herself too. But Trio, what did you think of the Thunderbolts?
Gooch, I absolutely adored the Thunderbolts. I had a really great time with it. It was everything that I was kind of hoping for out of this movie. I think it's funny because this really isn't it's weird. It's a movie that has very high stakes, but not really high stakes at all. Because, if the Void gets out and fucks things up, that could destroy the entire world. But they don't destroy the Void by punching and kicking and fighting. Because guess what, Gooch? What are these fucking losers with guns going to do against the Sentry? Nothing. And I think that's almost the point of this movie, which is interesting. It's very much focusing in on who the Sentry is as a character. It's very much focusing in on, like you said, where these characters are at in their stories. I think Yelena very much takes the front seat and drives the movie for the best. I think I think you need that kind of focal character, but it's very much an ensemble. Her and Alexi especially, I loved all their moments. That one moment when he's talking to her outside on the streets in New York and she's kind of having her moment. It's great. Like, it really is. There are many fantastic character moments where people just get to sit in a scene and kind of chat. And I think, you don't see that often in Marvel movies. There are a few really great action scenes in this, but I don't think there are a crazy amount, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. You get a few really good ones. I thought the Sentry fight versus the Thunderbolts, as we spoke about, was
Agreed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it was all one shot. It sufficiently showed how they cannot fucking mess with this guy physically, on a physical level. I liked their characterization of Sentry. I don't know much about Sentry. I did watch a video this morning that I sent to the Discord that kind of filled in his backstory, and I actually think that they did a rather good job of adapting that for what you can. So, for those of you who don't know, Sentry's in the comics. The Sentry in the comics was created, I believe, in the 90s. He was a character that was created almost as like a Blair Witch Project, Gooch. They tried to trick Marvel readers and act like he was created back in the 60s and that he had been around for all this time and everyone had forgotten about him. They even had like things drawn of him like in the style of the era that he was supposed to be in. And they were like, we found these comic books. And the whole story about Sentry is that he doesn't remember who he is. He doesn't remember that he was a superhero. He wakes up one day and starts having these memories of his life as a superhero. And he's like, I met Captain America. What the fuck's going on? And it slowly kind of unfolds from there, and it involves the Void and all that. And I was just surprised at how well they managed to adapt that. Really,
Yeah, it's a story about a character with a mental illness.
Absolutely.
More or less,
and
too.
yeah, and
I know there are other versions of him, but that's the main one.
That's the original one. They do kind of retcon him apparently in the like 2000s. I don't know exactly how. I kind of forget. Comic Tropes. I can't recommend that channel enough. It's really fantastic. It goes through all like the comic book origins of a lot of these characters. They did one for Thunderbolts as well, which I sent to Discord. But yeah, I thought Sentry was specifically amazing. Those moments between him and Yelena. This movie is about depression and loneliness at its core, which is a very interesting theme to kind of tackle in these movies. And they very much focus in on it. They don't like kind of shy away from it and all that. Like, that is the crux of the movie.
While I was thinking about it, and especially with Yelena being a drinker, there's a few scenes where they show her like, guzzling alcohol and being an alcoholic, and she talks about it. And obviously the Red Guardian's kind of a bit of that, but I don't know if it's necessarily.
He's not. He just
him.
wants to get back out there. He seems. Yeah.
But it kind of reminded me of like what they did with Iron Man 2, which was the Demon in the Bottle storyline, but like totally not Demon in a Bottle.
Sure.
It was like shades of Demon in a Bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
But like they didn't really do it.
Yeah.
And it like maybe they were too scared, or like, I think RDJ would have been perfect for that, considering that was his life at that point. He was relapsing and coming back into his career from drug and alcohol problems. But yeah, we've never really seen a story like that with superheroes. I'm trying to think on the DC side of things where like, the superhero has like very real problems in terms of like addiction or
what they're going through as an individual.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Like, but the problems aren't like super, they're normal problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I like, especially, and John Walker's also got me too.
I agree.
Of like, we don't really hear in Falcon the Winter Soldier, we don't really hear about him being a dad, or I don't think he was a dad yet, but like, his wife or any of that, and we get like two brief scenes of it, like the picture being painted very well. It's like, okay, I get it. Like,
even that comment from Bucky, like I was like, oh, after your kids left you or whatever. Yeah, it's good.
Low blow from him, but even Bucky too. I liked his progression, man. A character we've seen a lot of.
Yeah,
but like him trying to essentially go away from this vigilante lifestyle that he's been living for 70 years of being the Winter Soldier, and he's like he's trying to move past it, and it's like he almost like can't.
Yeah,
and we see at the end of the movie that he does.
And I feel like he's almost realizing, he's like, what am I gonna go set them up in front of another committee? Like, what are we getting done here? I think that's also kind of like his thought process. I love that
right.
One
He can't
line.
be behind a desk.
Right.
Yeah.
I did love that. This is actually emblematic of, I think, the whole movie. That one line with Bucky where she's like, oh, when the Avengers attack happened, I was only in high school. He's like, I was 90 back then. It was just so funny the way he like lays it out.
That was the first time they've ever kind of put in like an age on that. I mean, it has been a while since the first Avengers movie.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, we were in high school.
Yeah, no, it's true.
When Avengers came out,
it was just a funny little comment, because it's like, man, these guys really have been doing this for so long. And then there was another thing I wanted to say about that, and it just totally. Oh yeah, the humor in this movie. I thought was genuinely fantastic and never, and at least for me, never undercut a scene. I thought it was very well placed. It felt natural. A lot was coming from Alexi, which is fine. I think David Harbour was eating up the screen.
I mean, they all kind of have their moments.
Definitely.
Like, even like Ghost is kind of part of the humor.
Yeah.
But Ghost is definitely the character who feels like a bit like tacked on.
For sure.
Like,
I mean,
just like, she's the only villain of this group.
Sure.
Like, not, even going to Taskmaster, we knew Taskmaster from the marketing and the trailers that, like, Taskmaster was not going to make it through that far. And she makes it through, like, that
even
first
less
scene.
than I thought. Like,
Yeah.
I was surprised. And by the way they kill her, it's just an execution shot to the head, which they showed, which I was honestly a bit surprised. I love it. I thought it was great. But I was like, all right, I guess if you're going to throw out the trash, I guess do it early on.
Just get it done, yeah.
And it makes sense because that girl, the actress, wasn't at much of the previews or like the press
In the
events
poster.
or anything like that. Yeah, she was.
But not anything else.
There was a few. I even thought her action scene was kind of fine at the beginning when she was fighting and she was throwing the
Yeah.
shield and stuff. But of course, it's not
They
the Taskmaster.
just did the Taskmaster so wrong.
I know.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it really is.
But yeah, she kind of gets thrown out. And another thing I will say, I don't know if it felt this way to you, but it felt like they were a lot of real fucking places. It felt like they were on sets and actually
they definitely were on
in
sets.
on locations and like
I'm
in
sure-
a room. Like,
I'm sure Stark Tower outside the windows
of course,
is
yeah.
green screen.
But it's like they built the set. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't feel like we're in the middle of nowhere, and it's nice to see that. It really feels like they.
I mean, there's a scene that's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but
Oh, for sure. What do you mean? Like which one?
the facility.
Oh, for sure. But that still feels
right,
real. You
right.
know what I
I
mean?
know
It
what you
doesn't
meant.
feel like we're just in a void, if you will.
Yeah. We're in
it feels real.
We're on like some like virtual set,
Or
yeah,
we're at the
yeah.
very least on location somewhere. So I really appreciated that. I thought everyone's costumes looked great. I thought just the overall production quality was fantastic. And I'm going to look it up before we get out of here. I'm curious what the budget is for this movie. We were in I think for a Thursday night, a really packed theater, which was cool to see. Gooch, it was absolutely packed.
No, I'm not laughing at that. The theater experience at Thunderbolts last night was
You were getting the worst of it, I
wild.
think. Yeah.
Wild. We had a group of 4 and 2 guys probably having a conversation the whole time.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they were in a relationship. They were all over each other, walking up and down. The guy reeked of Axe. Did you smell that?
I didn't smell it,
Oh
no.
my god, dude! He sat back down and it's like somebody like got the axe and like sprayed it up my nose. I'm like, oh my god! Like I like almost can't focus on the movie.
Yeah, because it's
And
literally
it's 'cause
giving you a headache.
He smells and he's talking too much. I think he fell asleep a few times. He's probably like high. I'm like, dude. And then there's like a couple, 2 girls like getting in a fight in the middle of the movie. And then like somebody tells them to shut the fuck up. And she's like, you shut the fuck up. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, are you fucking serious?
This is the theater going experience they talk about on why am I forgetting it? It's that big fucking show with the
Red Letter Media?
Yeah, they talk about their theater going experience all the time and why they hate going.
Like, I think we have some funny moments. That was a theater experience where I was like,
You're genuinely
this,
annoyed.
This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting up to go get somebody and missing the movie because
No.
of this jackass.
Well, the only part I saw those guys kind of chatting back and forth. I couldn't really hear them though because I guess I was just slightly far away enough. The only part I really heard was when that person went, "Hey, shut the fuck up!" Like very noticeably too.
Yeah.
And everyone looked over, and I was like, "Oh man, is this about to get worse?" But then it
Yeah.
actually did. Like I don't know, it simmered down after that.
Or maybe she realized she was being a fucking
Yeah, it's like maybe
idiot.
don't talk during the fucking movie. But the theater itself was fucking full, and I love to see it. And guess what, Gooch? Everyone fucking hung for the after credits scene. I don't feel like
not a person got up.
I don't think so. Maybe one, but like the entire theater sat, and I was like, man, this feels kind of nice. It's been a while, and we get that after credit scene, which we can get into when we want.
We gotta leave that ending for the end,
yeah.
because I feel like it's
Apparently, that was shot within the last month while they were doing Doomsday. That's why, because I thought everyone looked a little older. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll get into it. Yeah.
Okay, one thing that really irked me, and this was something I brought up in Daredevil, where we knew it was going to be in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, the party that she has. If Wilson Fisk would have walked up to her and, he goes, "Oh, Valentina, it's good to see you."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Mr. Mayor." And like, cut away,
Right.
that would have been enough.
I mean, dude,
Because
I think,
he's the mayor, he would be there. He probably would know her. Like, they didn't have to say his name. I don't know if that skates the.
I think even him being in it fucks with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, we just have like vigilantes like running around New York and like on a street like talking and nobody cares. But like there's also that like vigilante task force that is like taking down vigilantes. Like
Gooch, do you even know when Daredevil happened? It could have happened years ago.
I know. and then the mid credit scene jumps 14 months. I'm like, what is time, dude?
Well,
it doesn't
no,
even
well,
matter.
So I'm assuming this takes place contemporarily, right?
I don't know.
I
have no fucking idea. Since Endgame, the timeline of things has been wild. It's been very hard to place anything.
Takes place in that's right. It's 2 years ahead of us. It's in 2027 because of the way they skipped it in one movie. They're always 2 years ahead of us now. So interesting.
We know it's a few months after Brave New World.
Yeah.
We know Ross isn't president anymore, and somebody else is president.
I didn't even realize, but no. So
at the beginning of the movie, when they're talking about impeachment, I'm like, oh, they're talking about Ross.
But the beginning of the movie is post Captain America, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah, okay.
Oh,
yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because
they talk about it.
It was funny though how we were in Captain America, like who the fuck is vice president, and it was apparently her, I guess. Or is she
no.
Or is she head of the CIA?
She's the head of the CIA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've known that
right,
since Wakanda Forever.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was I've never heard impeachment talked about for like.
Yeah, it's like all those.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured it was like, oh, it's
you would assume
presidential.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Ross is he must be jailed, but like they
only
probably
thing
have to impeach him.
Yeah.
Like formally. So it looks like his vice president is the president. We don't know who that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Allegra is on trial, and that's kind of what kickstarts the whole thing, Bucky's trying to get her by the books with this committee. It's like not working.
She's trying to destroy all her evidence. That's why she has them all meet in the same place.
Yeah. And the evidence has to do with the Sentry, and it's kind of like a boys kind of look at the superhero. They have Lex Luthor marketing material, like ready to go. Costume designs, hair designs, like they're designing
testing everything.
a superhero. Yeah, they're testing a market for what a superhero looks like down to the suit to the hair.
Mm-hmm.
They're really trying to nail this down, and they do a lot of human trials, and that seems to what kind of boils this over. And Allegra or Valentina, whatever the fuck her name is, DeFontaine, is getting rid of all her evidence, and that includes her shadow ops.
Right.
Walker, who we see at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier, becomes U.S. agent.
Suit looks great, by the way.
Yelena from Hawkeye. Ghost is new. Taskmaster is new. But like, it makes sense that she, has all these black ops people. What?
Can I just say that I'm incredibly happy that Florence Pugh isn't in like Young Avengers or something. I don't know why. That's kind of where I thought that.
Young?
Yeah, and I would hope. And like, because I thought that's what Haley Steinfeld. That's what I was thinking. So I'm just happy. I gotta say, for a group of people you get together, story wise,
hold that end.
No, I'm not going to the end. No, I'm just talking about the casting in general. Like,
not that
they could not have ended up with a better cast of folks to play off each other.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I think that is half of why this movie works so well. I don't know if it works as well if you don't have Florence Pugh and David Harbour and Bucky and fucking Sebastian Stan, like, and even the guy Walker, who is not Keith. Who was he the son of?
Yeah. What's his name?
Kurt Russell. He's Kurt Russell's son.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. Jack. No. Jack Russell. And then even the girl who plays Ghost. I know she doesn't get a lot of time, but I actually liked her from what we saw, and I think she fit right in. But I think
Wyatt Russell.
I think that they couldn't have hit it further out of the park with this cast, and I just adored watching them at every moment. Genuinely. Anything else on the middle part there, Gooch?
Trying to think of overall. I mean, I know I didn't talk about the Sentry as much. It's going to be interesting to see where the Sentry goes, so I think I'll save my thoughts for that, because I don't necessarily disagree with anything you said. I don't think the Sentry was like my favorite part. Cool villain. Like the fight scene, like we mentioned. But yeah, again, the movie's really contained.
It is.
There's not... I think the part with the rooms and the flashbacks to like the not the red room, well, the beginning of Yelena's Red Room trials, and she gets one of her friends / fellow Black Widows killed to kind of get her in, and there's this scene with her like building a gun.
She does it the quickest,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So she's kind of like moving up through the ranks, and like it's this trauma. And then the soccer team thing was also really funny, where like she's really can't move past this fake family that she had.
It's the only family she had,
and Natasha and Rachel Weisz, whatever her character's name was. And yeah, they were on like a soccer team called like the West something
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, yeah. And like that's where the name comes from, and I thought that was pretty funny because
I did too.
I think I was saying to you in the theater, I think if William Hurt didn't die, Thunderbolt Ross would have been in this movie. I think it's a much different get for Harrison Ford, so I think they just kind of. Like, I don't know how much of this movie was written, but, they just kind of had to change where the name came from.
Sure. No, and I guess they do get their name from him in the comic.
He starts them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And maybe, I'm pretty sure it might be a part of them as Red Hulk.
No, Red Hulk didn't exist back then. They were made in like the 80s, I think. So
yeah, and it makes sense because the Thunderbolts are named after Thunderbolt Ross. So but I think that's fine. Marvel especially has never really kept too close to their comic book.
I mean, no superhero movie really does. I mean, you get like Batman vs Superman, but that's all like that's 99% like look, and there's like some and there's some threads too.
Yeah,
but
I guess you're right.
You rarely ever see it. I would love to see it tried one day. I would love to see a direct adaptation of a comic, but
like Civil War is not even close. We were talking about
Iron Man 2,
Demon in a Bottle.
Well,
not even close.
Again, I think it's I think it's close within the way of it explores somewhat similar themes, and like the general idea is the same. Like even with Iron Man, they just kind of replace drinks with anxiety almost in that he just keeps having anxiety attacks and he can't get over that he went to space. And with Civil War, it's still the same basic idea. It's one side versus the other. They both have a different point of view on this new superhero law. So I don't know. I would love to see a direct adaptation of something just to see how that would go, honestly. Like, what would a direct adaptation of... I don't know. I mean, I guess The Dark Knight is basically... It is Batman vs. Superman, but, like, that's not a direct adaptation. Like, what does a one-for-one look like? I can't even imagine. Can't even begin. Yeah. Should we get to the end?
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, make sure we, like, got everything.
No, I think we did. It's... I feel like our reviews, it's funny. They can last, and I think we can do really good reviews at 30 minutes and at 45 minutes. I think it just depends on kind of what the movie dictates.
I guess I'm at the point I'm like, we've been kind of quick here. It's like,
is there anything we missed?
But again, the movie is very small scale.
And it's very straightforward.
Isn't a ton to talk about. The post-credit stuff and the ending is where I think a lot comes from, and I guess let's...
Oh, for sure, especially like where we're going next-wise.
Yeah, I mean, so the asterisks, you're probably wondering... I guess this is real spoilers coming up here.
Spoiler.
If you haven't seen it, but if you have, we were all kind of wondering what that asterisk was. It was in the marketing, it's in the title. Like, it was just kind of strange.
It's like, what does this mean?
Like, clearly, like, the name is going to change. And, at the end of the movie, Void is defeated. Sentry lives. He's, Bob is normal again.
Well, Sentry, it's just Bob. It's Bob. It's because without Sentry, you can't have the Void without Sentry. So
yeah. So Bob is Bob. They saved him. Didn't have to kill him. And
couldn't have if they wanted to.
Valentina kind of takes this. They think it looks like she's gonna get arrested. She walks behind this barrier, and there is just this press conference ready to go, and she introduces the Thunderbolts as the new Avengers, and I was like, whoa, did not see that coming at all.
I kind of thought that was so. There's a moment when she sees them save everyone, and then she looks at them like, oh yeah, I got something here if this doesn't work. Again, it's that kind of boys thing. Like, she is very much a boys shaded character in the way of how she's working with the marketing, with how she works in the government, with how she's trying to work with optics and like how it looks and all that stuff. I think it's very, her character is very interesting. And I mean, you couldn't have picked another fucking amazing casting with that. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. That's terrible. I did not say her name right, but
it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
That's it. Thank you, Gooch.
And then we get our credit scene, and it's a lot of the new Avengers in marketing, on cover of magazines, cereal. They're plastered up on things, doing the poses and like
They're on the Wheaties box.
Going back to your boys thing, yeah. It seems like this new Avengers team is being marketed and like it's very much
super official.
Yeah. Like we're gonna make T-shirts and toys and hats and that kind of thing. We're really gonna cash in on it. And yeah, the scene with Alexi in the supermarket with the Wheaties box, and I really
comes in with the jumpsuit too. Yeah, at the end.
I love how he respects the Winter Soldier and like his like admiration of him, but like not like too fanboyish, but like they're like kind of like on the same level.
I completely agree. I think they walk that line perfectly without like being like, oh my god, Winter Soldier. Like he's fucking awesome. Like,
the Winter Soldier.
What kind of super soldier serum you get? He's like, I don't know, Hydra. He's like, I got off brand. I don't know. It's so fun. And I do love the idea that he was the person you weren't supposed to pick. Not actually, that's not true. He's not like a shitty person. He just doesn't know what he's doing, and he's not really good at being it. He's washed up. But like, whereas like you have Steve, who is the epitome of the person you want to give that serum, but he's not like on the other end of the spectrum where he's a piece of shit and turns into Red Skull.
Whereas John Walker, it is.
Hey, he kind of is.
And I love how he's like an asshole, but like you kind of like him.
Yeah, no, he grows on you by the end.
Not that I don't think I ever disliked him, but like he is an asshole.
Yeah.
They say it a few times, but like he's kind of likable for some reason.
Well, and I feel like he's been very much what's the word? Like perturbed by his whole experience as trying to be Captain America, and he was trying to live up to this mantle, and he made a mistake, and everyone just fucking threw him out after that. So I do think his whole story is very interesting, and I still think it's a shame that Captain America and Winter Soldier isn't just a movie. I think a lot more people would have seen that and enjoyed it a lot more.
Before we continue to the new Avengers, one thing I will say about this movie, it requires a lot. Besides everything up to Endgame, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Brave New World, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Quantumania.
Can I completely disagree with you here?
Ant-Man 1.
Can I completely disagree with you here?
Sure.
Super watched it and was totally fine. He hasn't seen any of that.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I guess it's like, yeah, true. Okay. But
I don't mean to disrupt.
You know what's funny about Super? He's not a plebeian, but also a plebeian at the same time.
Sure.
Like,
I think he's
knows
a plebeian
a lot
to
about
this.
certain things.
Yeah, for sure.
Where like Dune, where he's the one who's like knows all this shit. Okay, so
I think you would. Yeah, I don't, and I think they do a good job even in that first moment when they're all in the room together. They give each other like a what for, and they even like kind of tell you
John
John's
Walker.
Oh yeah, washed
you
up Captain America. Yeah, didn't you
yeah.
kill that guy by me? Like, I think they do a good job of like filling everyone in kind of quickly. Ghost doesn't really get anything, but and then Taskmaster they kind of reference a few times after she's killed, but I mean she's kind of just again it's kind of like why even put her in it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't know. Because you don't need to show that someone could die. Like, obviously, I guess you kind of do, but it just feels like a cheap thing to just do right at the beginning and then just be like, oh, we're never going to talk about her again. I don't know. But yeah, so that final scene, we get an Avengers Tower, new Avengers Tower, and it's the team as we know it now. Everyone's, by the way, Bucky's in Bucky's in like his exact comic book outfit. I did not realize that. Yeah. I saw you. I just thought I saw him with the star, but like there's apparently I saw someone share an art of it, and it's like spot on. I didn't realize that. Everyone looks great. Everyone's in their new suits. Apparently, Kim.
Not all of them are new. Like
really?
Elena's suit is the same one. Is
it? I thought I know Ghost's was different, and obviously Alexi's not wearing one.
Her suit just looked the same, but like.
By the way, I don't want Alexi's suit to look good. I like that it kind of looks a little cheap, and I almost don't want them to upgrade it in the next one. I kind of want it to almost look always like that.
This was just like Captain Marvel's end credit scene. This was from Doomsday.
Oh, it was. They said it already. They announced it. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. This was shot like a month or two ago, I think. Like right when it started.
Yeah.
So, and it makes sense, it sets up, like, apparently Sam is trying to build his own Avengers, like we already showed.
And also suing the new Avengers.
And suing the new Avengers. I don't know how, and then he's trying to copyright the Avengers name. I don't know how they couldn't just do the new Avengers.
Because remember, at the end of Brave New World, he says the world needs the Avengers. So he is forming some sort of team, probably involves the young Avengers to some point. But like, that's all we know. And now it's 14 months later, and I guess he still doesn't have that team going.
Well, I would assume that that's what he's trying to. trademark. I'm assuming he has some people with him, but he just doesn't have the name because everyone thinks of them now as the Avengers. And now it's becoming like this copyright battle.
I don't know about that. There's some dialogue that kind of infers that the public is not totally sold on the new Avengers.
Well, right, exactly. So I think it's kind of like
they're
vying for it.
Yeah.
But maybe in the public conscious. Anyways.
Yeah, but maybe there's like a battle going on between the Avengers and the other Avengers.
Right,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would make sense. I mean, we're definitely getting...
And you see that with, like, Alexi walking in with his, like, F1 suit, and it's like, with a Z, we're getting away from it.
Yeah.
And, like, the A is a lot different.
Yeah.
Like, they're clearly... Again, marketing, branding. Like, that's what this new Avengers team is about.
I think that's part of it, but I also think I think that's Valentina's part of it, but I think the people on the team, they're just there to be the Avengers and help people. But yeah, so we get the setup. It looks like there's going to be some confrontation over who is the real Avengers coming in Doomsday.
There's some sort of, besides the Fantastic Four, there seems to be something going on in space.
Some type of anomaly, yeah.
No, some sort of war they're talking about.
I thought she said some type of activity. I didn't get it as like war or something, but maybe.
I would say that's like conflict, not like an anomaly.
I gotcha. I thought the way that they were talking about the anomaly and that was the Fantastic Four ship.
No, I think there were two different things. I think they were talking about something going on in space, and then the Fantastic Four happening to show up independently of that line.
I still don't think their world's getting destroyed, by the way. It's just too obvious.
In the theater, their spaceship comes in.
Yeah, and
that's where we're left on. It has the Fantastic Four logo on it.
So that would mean that it was post-accident. Unless they just use that.
Unless they
were always as the Fantastic Four before they went up. So my guess.
Yeah, let's let Trios
is that that's when they get their powers. That's the first time they go into space, and then they hit the interdimensional thing. It causes them to get their powers. Then they're going to come back, and we're going to get the whole Fantastic Four thing.
Yeah, mind you, we don't see the ship leave. So I think it's the Fantastic Four fleeing their universe, their dimension.
Right.
Because Galactus has destroyed it.
Right. And that's the rumor. I don't know. I'm really curious. I'm excited for Fantastic Four. That's the next one. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, we're going to see the new Avengers return and the Sentry in Doomsday. Again, going back to the Sentry, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him.
I think they actually set him up in a very good way, in the way of like, you can't use the Sentry without getting the Void. And look at the Void. So it's like he's going to be that almost break glass in case of emergency type hero.
Yeah,
like you can't.
What Captain Marvel was supposed to be.
Yeah. And I mean, she kind of was, but then she.
Yeah, I'm excited. It does. I mean, I know it's kind of final, but this does feel very end gamey in the terms of like this is it.
This is what we're getting. This is the final thing we've been looking for, or this is the
end of the MCU from Iron Man 1. Like, it's ending.
Oh, see, that doesn't feel like that to me. It
just
feels
no. Like, we're gonna restart it.
Oh, like what you're saying. Like, this is the
true end of an era.
The end and the beginning. Right? Yeah. Like I get what you mean. Yeah. This is the fold into the next chapter.
Yeah, because I made a comment to Trio and he hated it, and I'm like, it sucks like that we're like not really gonna get these new Avengers at all. Like they're not like we're not gonna get a movie with them. It doesn't really matter that they're the new Avengers. It was kind of spoiled to us in the chair thing that all of them would live. So we kind of knew going into this, we're not going to have a major death besides Taskmaster.
Right.
We knew Taskmaster was going to die. But yeah, it's like, okay, it looks like everybody survives. Because Red Guardian was a shoo-in for a death, in my opinion.
There were a few times they had me. I thought when that thing was coming down and going to crush the girl, I thought it was going to kill him. I don't know why. I just was like, oh man, are they going to kill him here? I'm actually incredibly happy they did keep him around. Because, we've barely gotten any of them so far. And hey, I will say, if this was just the next Avengers team, I'd be in. I would be.
Yeah,
I'd see an Avengers movie with these guys.
Just the fact that Ghost is on the Avengers is such a wild concept.
It is funny, yeah.
Ghost?
Yeah.
I think Scott will go, Ghost?
Yeah, what's she doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
Yeah. It's an exciting time. And I mean, Fantastic Four is our next project. We have no shows, right? In between now and then?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Is Eyes on Wakanda or whatever the fuck that is? That isn't releasing? No Ironheart?
Oh, Ironheart might.
God, I feel like that project is going to release and just be dead on arrival.
Yeah, Ironheart. Thunderbolt. Yeah, that looks like the only one.
Ironheart.
Yeah.
Okay, but the next movie
And
is
Eyes of
fantastic.
Wakanda or whatever
Okay.
too, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that is. Yeah, I was like, well, those two projects have just been.
I think that was at the point where they were like, oh, maybe the TV thing isn't working, and those
Yeah,
were already in
they're the
production.
last two remnants,
yeah, and
yeah.
they're like, oh fuck, okay, we got to do this. Anyways, Gooch, is there anything else on the Thunderbolts?
No, I liked it. You know what's funny? We were talking about, we just saw this movie less than 24 hours ago and reviewing it, and sometimes that colors it. But honestly, I don't feel like I settle into a Marvel movie or show until about a month or two after.
Sure.
Like, I think I'm lower on Brave New World than when we reviewed it. I mean, that's just the nature of things. I think if we reviewed a movie 2 times in 1 year, we probably would have a very different conversation about it.
Of course.
And that's just the nature of these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I was thinking about it, and because I gave Brave New World and Thunderbolts the same score, and I'm like, nah, Thunderbolts is better than Brave New World.
What did we
sure.
give? What did you give Thunderbolts?
I gave
Or
it like
am
a 4.5 on Letterboxd.
Oh, I see. And then you gave Captain America, what, a 4.5?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
So-
no, that's logical to me.
and I would say
Yeah, this is definitely way better than Captain America for me. More interesting,
high
anyways.
tier movie, low tier film.
Oh, it's a low tier film for me. Maybe even mid tier film, I would actually
Ooh,
say.
I think it's a little high.
I mean, performances really sold it for me, genuinely. And just the overall kind of theme I really liked. And I think, you know what? I'm going to stick to it, Gooch. Mid tier film.
Okay, I'll go low tier film. Why the hell not?
Love it. Love it. Go see Thunderbolts. Seriously. It's kind of nice to emphatically be able to say that.
Yeah,
Once in a while.
I think when we were talking about Brave New World, I was being like, you don't have to go see this.
Yeah.
It's good, but I think Thunderbolts is a movie you want to see.
I agree.
I think it's going to get you back in and ready for Fantastic Four, for Doomsday, for what's to come.
Yeah. And if they keep the fire going with Fantastic Four, it's good. That's what they need. And, I hope that they can keep that train going because this is a good start. And you know what? I think Fantastic Four will be fantastic, for lack of a better term. But God only knows, Gooch. God only knows. We don't want another Fan Four stick. That's for damn sure. There's no way it's going to be nearly as bad as that. There's not even a chance. But still. Anything else, Gooch?
Don't say it.
No,
don't say it.
I will emphatically say that. Yeah.
I don't even think that, but yeah.
You never know. Well, thank you all for watching. If you've been with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network, we really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search us on your favorite app of choice. We have a Facebook page. We have a Discord channel. All that good stuff will be linked down below. We're on at all the social medias at Delco Nerds. On everything with an @ you can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.